Make sure to watch the first part in the series to not miss out any detail. The hazmat team didn't find anything that could suggest how the medical staff fainted. The team then put the body in a sealed aluminum casket. An autopsy didn't happen until almost a week later, and in a special room where the autopsy team conducted its work in hazmat suits as a precaution. The press dubbed Ramirez the Toxic Lady because no one could get near the body without facing a bevy of medical problems. Yet no one could point to a definitive cause shortly after her death. Officials conducted 3 autopsies. One occurred 6 days after her death, then 6 weeks, and right before her burial. A more thorough autopsy happened on March 25th, more than a month after Gloria Ramirez passed away. That team concluded that there were signs of Tylenol, lidocaine, codeine. More importantly, the toxicology report said that Ramirez had large amounts of dimethylsulfone in her blood and tissues. On April 12, 1994, county officials announced that Ramirez died of heart failure due to the kidney failure brought on by late-stage cervical cancer. Ramirez was diagnosed with cancer 6 weeks before her death. It took county officials 2 months to release the body for a proper funeral because of the toxicity levels and fears that people would faint or pass out. The woman's family was incensed. Her sister blamed deplorable conditions at the hospital for the death. Although the facility was cited for violations in the past, there was nothing in the county's investigation that pointed to conditions in the hospital being at fault. After an investigation lasting several months, officials concluded that the hospital staff suffered from mass hysteria. The assistant deputy director, Pat Grant, made a startling conclusion. Ramirez covered her skin from head to toe in DMSO, or dimethylsulfone, as a possible way to cure her late-stage cervical cancer. Medical science labeled DMSO a toxic substance in 1965. The reasons for Ramirez's use of a toxic substance on her skin goes back to when DMSO was all the rage as a cure-all. Research in the early 1960s led doctors to believe that DMSO could relieve pain and reduce anxiety. Athletes would even rub DMSO cream on their skin to try to relieve aches in muscles. DMSO converts to dimethyl sulfate and not sulfone because it adds oxygen to its chemical structure. When this vapor gets into the body, it can cause convulsions, delirium, and paralysis. Of the 20 symptoms described by medical staff that night, 19 of them match symptoms of people who have exposure to dimethyl sulfate vapors. The medical staff didn't suffer from mass hysteria or stress. They suffered from dimethyl sulfate poisoning. It would also explain the fruity garlicky odor coming from her mouth. The most likely explanation is that Ramirez, the toxic lady, used DMSO to try to relieve the pain caused by her cancer. The young woman found out she had cancer too late to do anything about it. When medical science could offer her no help, she turned to an archaic substance to try to get some kind of relief. In the end, Gloria Ramirez's nickname of the Toxic Lady is the last sad note of her final days.